Nation. I'm sorry, I know it was lost, but I'm feeling good. I'm alive. I just am. I feel good. Guys, it's week 2. You know, it was a division rival. What'd you expect? Okay, did I want to put that thing on him? Of course. They got it. No. And it's not that dirty Harbaugh, okay? They just played a good game. We played a bad game. Let's go! Awesome! Update also that there you all know. Out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. What? You heard me. And so did all your neighbors. Get the window open or the door. Put the baby to bed already. Then imitated, nerve duplicated. That fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The Raider Bear! Fade to black, fade to brown. I'm more brown. Although I am. Very Deadpool answer. What's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. Blah, 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 blah. But first, Tradish! Raider Bear Live. First comment. MVP tonight goes to my 2-belt wearing multi-time champion son of a gun. 5 emoji making bear. Mark Vargas. Mark, thank you. Defending the belt tonight, doing it with honor. Appreciate you. Stepping into the breach amongst the fire and the rage. Sorry, I got carried away. Second place, silver medal goes to John the Lion. Always dropping L's, but never taking losses. John the Lion. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. And I promise you, I have to just show you guys one of these days, but I mean, these are really sharp. I know it just looks like a prop toy, but how it's blinging in the light right now, it looks hella real. But I'm telling you, it really hurts. But if I push long enough, look at that. It'll well, you can't really see, but it leaves a little dot. It's whew. David Pelpaliva just etching out Essay. Big dog. What's up, Essay? Welcome to the show. And, you know, honestly, David Pelpaliva, I always keep my toys by my side just because of you. That's the only reason. I could put them away, but I always wonder if you're going to be on the show. Facebook, numero uno, our gold medalist, El Jefe, the boss, he who runs first place. That's right. That's the kind of entrance he gets, so you ought to know who it is. Carlos Boykins. What's up, champ? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear, back and defending his title. My good friend and champion, Carlos Boykins. Second place, the G-Man, our silver medal, Jim Garrison. Jim, I would be shocked if you don't already know this, but at the same time, I would be remiss if I don't say it. You know the background of your last name, right? I mean, oh my God, it goes on for like a billion years. Vikings and warriors and stuff. Garrison, tough name. Third place, my bronze medal goes to Chris Strong. Tell him, Chris. That's how we got to be. Speaking of last names, wow, that's a tough one. Strong. I mean, it goes so many different nationalities. It goes into so many different ethnics. It goes into so many different cultures. You know, your name, lot of rich history behind that. While Jesse Parker, your name has like nothing. There's nothing historic about the last name Parker. Just move on, bro. My fashion designer in the house, honorable mention. What's up, Jesse Parker? Always there for Raider Bear. Patrick Bird Malreg, what's up? Welcome to the show. Don't let Gino pass the ball. Throw the ball past 10 yards. Well, Patrick Bud Malberg Kavanaugh. Woo, that's a long. Stephen Shaw. Before I even. Stephen Shaw! Stephen, I was trying to get your mailing information. In reality, I have your mailing information, but I just wanted to make sure it hasn't changed because it's been a while since I've sent you anything, and so I just wanted to double check. And obviously, because I'm sending you my medallion, I wanted to make sure that you haven't changed your address or anything. So please hit me up. Mama Bear sent you something, or hit her up and just let us know that your address hasn't changed. And if it has, let us know what it's changed to, because we have something we want to send out to you. Mr. Stephen Shaw, and he reminds me to remind all of you, because I'm not a greedy person, that if you would, please consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page. Now, it's just $5 on Facebook, but I'm also on Patreon. So check me out. Patreon's a little bit cheaper. And those of you on YouTube, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you're watching me on YouTube and you haven't subscribed and liked this episode, just go on. Have you seen this mustache? Come on, that was worth your subscription alone. Okay, just that alone. The show's going to be great, but have you seen this? All right, I'm very humble, I swear. Hey there, bro bear. I was late getting to my phone. I twisted up my knee and buggered up my hand a little bit down at the bar because 3 young idiots got out of hand, but I'm cool. Oh boy. All right, look, Joe, I love you, brother, but I need you at 100% if you're going to be the head of my security team. I can't have you beating up bozos, okay? No. Okay, now remember, think like I do, okay? When people ask me why I don't fight guys on the street, I tell them quite quickly, I don't fight for free. I said, so if you guys are going to pay me to fight this guy, then okay. Let's do it. I mean, if I'm already mad at him and he said something wrong to me or said something out, that I don't like and I'm ready to knock him down, I'm not going to just do it in the streets so the guy can call the cops so I can go to jail. But if you're going to put a few $100s on it, hey. The Raider Bear and Raider Bear family page does not condone fighting on the street, kids. That was a joke. I'm always telling jokes. Here we go. 3.7 seconds is supposed to be the average quarter time for a release of a football. Is it Gino or O-line, our play calling, or our receivers? Okay, John, great question. Let me just say that one more time. 3.7 seconds is supposed to be the average quarterback time for the release of the football. That means from the snap, 3.7 seconds, throw. For release of the football, is it Gino or the O-line or the play calling or our receivers? Okay, now in the first game, you noticed we didn't have that problem. So I don't think it's any of those things. I think it was the team we were playing against. See, the Chargers did something, and it would sound silly for me to say we hadn't seen this coming. It's only week 2. How could you see it coming? It's a division rival, okay? And Harbaugh, who I can't stand, and I do not think he's a good coach, and I am not crediting him with what I'm about to say. Okay. But I feel like the only thing you could know about us from last week's game is that we're explosive, that we need explosive plays. Week 1 showed that we did some things, but like our running back, for example, was averaging 2.7 yards a carry. That's not good. But in moments where we got the blocking right and he got his move and he hit the right gap, he would get 7, 8 yards, 10 yards. So there was reason to say, okay, he makes mistakes, but who doesn't? If we look at that, that's progress. Later on, those 4 or 5 mistakes will only become 3. Then mid-year, those 3 mistakes should only become 1 or 2, maybe 1. And then hopefully by week 8, week 9, we're talking about almost no mistakes. He's got it down. He's watched it on film every weekend. It takes him 9 weeks to figure out what they're trying to teach him. No. So I think it could happen even faster than that. I'm just kind of taking it easy on him because it is the National Football League. It is the NFL level. And so it's hard to learn anything at the NFL level. You want your guys to come in understanding these things already. But some things you just can't know until you get there and start playing. Even Dante Thornton, who looked fantastic, he's just a physical specimen. He looks like a man among boys. But he's still got to learn sight recognition, that if they call a 7 route and they need to turn it into, an interior route or a post, you have to understand that on sight. You can't wait for someone to tell you, hey, everyone's on the outside, run the post, not the 7. And so he has to think, or fade post, but he has to understand that and figure that out. So there's a multitude of things, John, but that's the product of a new roster with a new head coach, with a new offense, with a new offensive quarter and a new, new offensive line, new running back. It all takes time. And the running back is new to the NFL. So I hate to make a cop-out and say there's almost too many variables to really answer that question, but there's too many variables to really answer that question. Because obviously you saw in week 1, we were much better, but that was because the Patriots were aggressive and it allowed us to attack them. The Chargers didn't do that. Harbaugh's defensive coordinator and their defense played a prevent and just said, throw everything underneath. We're not going to let Geno be a gunslinger. And unfortunately, that's what Geno is. So even though he's a veteran, he kept throwing into coverage because he wants to challenge the defense and move the ball down the field. But what he doesn't understand is that sometimes a defense will look at you and just say, no, we're going to play 6, maybe 7 men in the backfield. You're only going to have 3, maybe 4 people running in the pattern. So we're going to be able to double cover everyone. So all we're going to give you is a tight end underneath or a running back on a shallow, little satellite position throw to the left or to the right, like a valve play on a blitz. You have to understand and respect that and throw intermediate stuff and run the ball successfully. Problem is, we don't have absolute trust yet in both our offensive line or our running back. Those two things are not functioning together well right now. So when we went to go away from that and do what we do, the Chargers went, go ahead, throw it. And, we have to be able to do everything before our division rival is going to respect us, which, by the way, it was a division rival. And we all know division rivalry games can go either way. We could have an 0-6 record, play them the second time this season and beat the brakes off them. You know what I mean? It's just how football is. Okay. Bear! George. Hey, Zaragoza. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Bear, what was the Brady Bunch's special announcement? I was in the ER with my mom and we missed the game. I don't know what the Brady Bunch's special announcement was. I'll be honest with you. I know that he's in the news right now because the NFL is giving him a lot of flack because, and by the NFL, I mean other coaches and owners from other teams, are basically saying because he gets to put the headset on as a broadcaster, he's hearing some of the input and information about the opponent his team will be playing that day if he's broadcasting. And then he'll also know about opponents we're going to play down the road because he's broadcasting. And he's going to hear things about them and sometimes even hear the feed of the coaching staff and things like that. And so, gee, what a thought. No one trusts him not to cheat. This is what happens when you get in trouble for cheating over and over and over and over. And I'll stop. There's more, but I'll stop. Denton Rhodes, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Oh, Steven. Okay, good. That's good to know. Thank you, brother. The O-line needs to give Gino more time to throw the rock. Yeah, this doesn't really have too much to do with Gino, because I would argue with you guys, what is he supposed to do in that situation? The running game was, okay, but not great. We were opening some things. They were moving them a little bit, but, we still, it wasn't like, oh, we have to have this absolute confidence in the running game because of what we're seeing against the Chargers. No. So he felt like he had to move the ball. He felt like he had to attack their defense. Now, as a veteran, you would hope that he would see they're playing, 2 deep, 3 deep coverage on like everyone. They're literally daring you to dump it off underneath. So just dump it off underneath. I don't know why they wouldn't just throw Genty little 5-yard scoop passes, hit Trey Tucker with little slants for 5-6 yards, let him run underneath against those linebackers that'll try to match up with him. He'll blow them away, and then hopefully we'll get catches. But it just, nothing was really working very well. But they played good defense. We have to say that. I mean, the Chargers' defensive line is way bigger than I realized. I knew they had guys, but when I saw they lost Bosa, and then I heard that Khalil Mack was coming into the year a little banged up, and then he got banged up against us. And when they took out Khalil Mack, it was like they missed nothing. You know what I mean? They brought in another guy that was 6'6", 278 pounds. And jeez, you know what I mean? And so they had a lot of horses to challenge our offensive line. And obviously right now we're not at our best. Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you were getting paid, Joe, I get it. But no moonlighting. John Rogers Jr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Okay, so looking at statistics and stats right now, as far as the injury report, it's still pretty much just the basic same thing. We've got a new guy on, but we got the other guy that was on there off. So now it's Brock Bowers, his knee. He's getting limited practice, and they're going to keep doing that because it seems like it's a bone bruise. When they did x-rays, there was no pulls, no tears, nothing like that. He just felt swelling and soreness. But he didn't develop water. They didn't have to drain his knee or anything like that, and he was able to play. Now, obviously, we saw him play. He wasn't himself. Okay, that was obvious. He had a brace on. That's always going to slow you down, and then you add to that, he wasn't 100%. But I have a feeling that with another week of rest, he didn't get banged up in that game. He didn't even really get an opportunity to really get going. So I think he'll be better next week, week 3. We also now have Jeremy Chin on the list. It's a pectoral issue. He got limited practice today, but I would say he'll probably go because Thursday and Friday he'll probably get full practice and he'll go. And then Jackson Powers Johnson is still on the list for a concussion. You got to figure he'll probably miss this. He probably would have missed this game and the next game. And then week 4, his third game that he would miss, that's where they'll start talking about reevaluating him, and then we'll see if he's going to play. I would say, honestly, he probably won't play, and they'll probably still err on the side of caution. For example, against Washington, even though we're still having struggles there, they're not going to want to rush him back. The league's not going to want us to rush him back. So I would figure that guy, John Forsythe, that we brought in from Seattle would probably be put in there, if not Kappa, but Kappa struggled. So we may see Forsythe get moved in there. I'd like to see it. He's younger. He's bigger. I'd like to see that. I don't know why they didn't go with Forsythe first. I know Kappa's the veteran, but I would have liked to have seen Forsythe. Now in week 1, Ashton Genty only got 11 carries, averaged 2.7 yards. It's not good enough, okay? But then he got 19 carries in this last game. Again, probably not enough, but I got to say this. It'll be the second time I've said it. I'm probably going to end up saying it literally all season so I make sure every Raider fan hears it at least once. But we have a throwing coordinator. We do not have a coordinator that wants to drag the ball down the field.
You can say what you want about Chip Kelly's matured, and he's matured since the run and gun days when he had that offense that was like 3 seconds throw, no matter what. I think that he knows the error of that, but at the same time, I don't think that means he doesn't still want to play fast. I think he still wants to play fast. We live an hour away from the Washington Commander Stadium. Oh, that's cool. We're going to the game Sunday. Raidered up. We're going to play much better Sunday. Let's go, Raiders. Now, we will play much better, but we do have a hell of an opponent in Washington, because even though Washington may not, instill fear in a lot of people, and you look at their win-loss record, not so good. But their quarterback is young and hungry and has a bionic live arm, and we've all seen it. And then more importantly, this is his sophomore season, so he's not going to want to justify the critics and end up giving them the ammunition of saying, oh, well, he had a great freshman season, but look at the sophomore slump, which is what we look for in all second-year guys that were stars in their first year. Look at the quarterback that is the star of the Texans. He had an incredible rookie season and has slowly started to regress a little bit. I think that's more game planning against him, that they've just got more video against him. I don't think he's less of a quarterback. I just think they're seeing what he's doing, and the team he's on is not helping him adjust well enough. Henny Blair! Appreciate the love on the stars, brother. Edward, my guy, Winchy. The O-line is a concern. Young players, zero experience, and you get what you saw Monday night. What's happening, little buddy? Hey, brother, good to see you. Welcome to the show. You're right. I see that. I get that. But I would say this. I think that the Chargers just frustrated Geno because they wouldn't let him do what he's used to doing. If the running game's struggling, he feels like, okay, put it on me. I'll use my arm. I'll make this happen. I'll create some first downs. I'll create some throws. And when I do, it's going to loosen this defense up, and then we'll get this running game going. That won't work against a Chargers front line. Those 4 guys are so huge. You're not going to back them up. They're not going to stop playing the run because they know they're playing a prevent the pass on deep outs. And so on everything beyond 7 yards, there's 6 guys in a web waiting for you to run into it and get interceptions. The question I've had regarding Geno, does he have the weapons he needs to win games? It looks like he's over his head in the current offense. Well, Jacoby Myers is the only guy you have to take away. And then once you take away Jacoby, Dante is still going through his learning curve of doing side adjustments, see what the defense is in front of him, and adjust. So when Geno gets that 4th, 5th, or 6th extra second, he can see his sight adjustment and hit him. But he's got to learn that. And then, Jack Besh, where's Jack Besh? We haven't seen him. I can tell the team just does not have faith in Jack Besh yet. Trey Tucker, this is probably the best we've ever seen of Trey Tucker, and he's always been more of a backup special teams wide receiver. So, there's rumors that we're in talks with the Eagles real quietly for their receiver, Hollywood Brown. Let's pray, because if we send them Jacoby, we get Hollywood Brown, we give them a pick, they give us a pick, and then we pair him with everybody. It could be good. But then remember, Brock Bowers, our other, defensive buster, wasn't 100%. And so we didn't have him to break down those prevent defenses and find those little nooks, sit down, catch the ball, get 9 yards, and run back to the huddle. And Geno needed to be patient and throw those kind of routes, and he just couldn't. He got frustrated and tried to win it. No excuses. You said a month or so ago that Geno was going to have a bad game or two, and he sure had one. And I hate giving the enemy a compliment, but that Charger defense was all that. Yeah, they're big up front, and they have young corners too, but their young corners were helped by that big front that kept putting Geno into pressure situations where he had to throw before wide receivers could get genuine separation. So a tough game, against a division rival, but things fell in their favor because they ran the right defense. And we didn't have our Brock Buster Bowers to bust that defense and put holes in it, but We will. Well, Oscar De Leon, I know you heard all that just before I put your comment up, but I will add this to it. On top of that, we still haven't got Ginty going. If we had got Ginty going, for example, midway in the first quarter, after that first turnover when Gino threw the interception, you have got to commit to the run there. And if they stop it, they stop it. But if they stop it, it means they probably brought guys down from the secondary to help, because their front four, although they're big, they're not fast. So if we had challenged the edges aggressively, not once in a while, stop with the A-gap stuff. Just challenge the edge, get a wide receiver or a tight end to help motion them over, and then really power run it, guys. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, we've had 2 games and we really haven't seen that. And one of the best runs that Ashton had was when we motioned Brock over to the weak side. He blocked, it opened a gap. Ginty got through and got 9 yards before he's even touched. So we got to get back to that. We got to be unafraid to really stick with the run, even if we fall behind. Because it's not like the Chargers were blowing us away. You know what I mean? It felt like that. You know what I mean? But they were having trouble getting their offense against our defense too. So I feel like if they had gotten less snaps and we had just been able to get another score or 2, we probably win that game. Brady's going to play flag football. That's so stupid. I hope that wasn't the announcement. Can we beat the Chargers on our second matchup, but with Gino being that too aggressive, what could be different in our second matchup? Well, hopefully by the second matchup, John, we have the lineup improved with another wide receiver. Hopefully find someone in free agency or through a trade, maybe even a UDFA, maybe even move someone up. I don't know. Maybe we mix in Dylan Laube a little bit more, because good things happen when Dylan Laube touches the ball. Give Dylan Laube the ball. But in our second matchup, we may even have Brown from the Eagles. Who knows? He's unhappy there. That story is real. I've read about it. Now, I haven't heard them make specific speculation about the Raiders, but I have heard Brown is unhappy. He wants to go. He's made it clear he wants a trade. So, Tanamoku. George Zaragoza, stop it. That's so stupid. Richard Nunez had a great comment for the team. Tanamoku, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. How about Laki Tassi? Tim, he was really good, but we did see in the preseason that even though he played well, he did make a few important mistakes. For example, he understands how to look for stunts and things like that. But if on a stunt, the defensive lineman drops back, then it's up to Laki Tassi, once the running back has the ball and starts running, to run upfield, get to the second level where the linebackers would normally be, find that guy and jam him up so he can't get a starting run and come get our running back. And he wasn't seeing that. And you could literally see Kappa in the preseason with his hand in Tassi's back, pushing him forward. And then Tassi's head would go like this, and he'd be like, oh, and he'd run forward and block the guy. But you can't do that in live action against, their starters and everything. And so you could see that was a big flaw for him. Shade Street, that's my guy right there. Steven Shaw! We appreciate the love on the stars. And remember, stars contributed to the show go directly to charities that we work with all over the world, including here in Arizona. And it helps us to improve our equipment and so on for this show, because you got to pay bills for these, apps and these things I use to project my show. Is Jaden Daniels playing? I heard he had a knee injury and may not play. Tom Shepard, that was mostly conversation. From what I understand, he's going to play. He's going to play. As of right now, everything I'm hearing is he's going to play. Now, if he doesn't play, that really evens the odds, because you bring in the backups. That's the whole reason why they had Jaden Daniels here. They didn't have a backup that could hit those wide receivers they have, because they have a couple of wide receivers that are legit and they're physical. And that's why for us, this is going to be a real week 3 test, because obviously we want to get back on the road to winning, but you're dealing with wide receivers that are very physical, very fast, and athletically gifted. And so we're going to have a challenge in front of us. I like that. Don't get me wrong. I like that, because if we survive that and we can go into Washington and really put one on them and keep them from getting 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns between their receivers, hey, that'll show a lot of confidence in the team moving forward. If it's Marcus Mariota, Jesse Parker, I love our chances, because Marcus Mariota has never really panned out. And although he's improved significantly, in my opinion, as a player in the NFL, he's done it learning at the NFL level. I've never liked that. And it basically, it means that there's just other things too that he still hasn't learned, because there's just too many things you have to know at the NFL level that if you're not trained to be an NFL starter, you just can't just become one. Sometimes you can. You know, we saw it with that other kid that was with the Dolphins and then he went to the Titans. I'm forgetting his name now, but he was decent. He went to the playoffs a couple times. You know, I won't hate on him. Thank you, Shane Street. I appreciate the compliment. Nobody cares who you beat up. We are Raider fans. Happens, Joe Raider. Yep. Okay, on the other side of the ball, although it didn't look like our defense did much until the end, all the stuff I saw during the year was saying that the Chargers offense was supposed to be supercharged and that we held them to 20 points. So I really ain't got no complaints there. Right. We were in the game all day. It didn't feel like it because we just couldn't execute our offense at all. But if we get any of our normal offense going, they probably lose that game. Remember, they lost Khalil Mack early in the game. You know, that, stopped a lot of their pressure, even though they did still get pressure. You know, Khalil Mack was looking like he was going to have a hell of a day. Appreciate you, brother. We hurt ourselves. We had a chance to win the game, but like you said, we shot ourselves in the foot. Yeah, Mark, again, though, Ryan Tannehill, that's right. Thank you, Mark Vargas. I made fun of the Dolphins when they said they were going to turn Ryan Tannehill into a wide receiver. I thought it was hilarious. Then he had a bad season and a bad year, and I laughed even harder. And then he got better, and he got better, and he got better. And then he got to another team, and he was immediately challenged by Mariota, and he beat Mariota out, a guy they wanted to give the team to, and he still beat him out. I respect Ryan Tannehill a lot because I'm telling you, it is climbing Mount Everest, okay? To go from a wide receiver, convert to a quarterback at the NFL level when you didn't play quarterback in college. He was a wide receiver and a scat back and stuff like that in college. He wasn't throwing the rock. He probably did in high school. I didn't really research. I don't remember my research that far back, but maybe he did in high school or something. I don't know. But for him to convert at the NFL level, that was astounding. And to even be good. I mean, obviously he didn't go on to win a Super Bowl or a division. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer, none of that stuff. But did he become a competent starter that won? Yeah, he did. He deserved respect. The Eagles never throw Brown the ball. He's supposed to be their star receiver and only has 2 catches in 2 games. Their quarterback Hurts only threw for 100 yards last week. Let's go get Brown. He's a beast. Jim, I would love that. I feel the same way I did when the Trey Hendrickson questions came up and Micah Parsons. I said, give up the house. Now, if I say that about all those players, it takes a little bit of validity away from what I'm saying. Unless you recognize what I'm saying. I'm saying that any one of those 3 guys, had we sold the farm to get them, that one player alone would have got us over the edge and we would be tremendously improved. Do you see what I'm saying? If we had gotten Micah Parsons, we matched the Chargers defensive play for sure. Because him and Max would have caused so much havoc, would have been running that quarterback off his spot the entire game, that there would have been mistakes on him too. Would they have still won the game? Probably, but it would have been more like 13-7. You know what I mean? But yeah, I digress. We didn't get any of those guys, and we're where we are as a result. But I'm not changing what I said before the season started. I like this team. I like this roster. But can you prepare for Jack Besh struggling? No. You know what I mean? No. I really thought he was going to hit the ground running. I mean, obviously, getting a Brock Bowers that does that, you feel a little spoiled. But then look at Dante Thornton, hit the ground running. You know, Josh Jacobs hit the ground running. Ashton Genty, you know, but I still think it's unfair that we're even talking about that. I mean, guys, come on. He would rather he had the 19 snaps in game 2 and the 11 snaps in game 1. He would rather have gotten all those in game 1. I promise you. He wants 25, 30 snaps. And I kind of want him to, because if he's getting that many snaps, it means he's having a hell of a game. But the only way we can find out is if you try to get him rolling, And I think you do that with misdirection first. You know what I mean? You motion a guy right, you make a pitch left. You put him into 4 wide receiver set, you make him look like a blocker, and then you give him a delayed draw play up the middle. I like deceptive running. You know what I mean? The days of the I formation, power A and B gap are kind of over. And if we had tried that against the Chargers, probably wouldn't have been very effective. They are just really big up front. And guys, I never try to anticipate a guy not playing. Now, I will say this. Jaden Daniels is on their injury report. I'll go over that now. I already went over ours. We only have 3 guys on our injury report, so let's talk about theirs for a minute. So they have John Bates, one of their tight ends. He has a groin issue. He did not practice on Wednesday. In fact, and this is going to get you guys excited, there's more than 6 players on this list, but the first 6 all got DNPs. All 6 could not practice. Now, a lot of people will think that means give them rest. Why have them start right away on the first, day of the week, back from the prior week? If he pulled his hamstring, why would you want them out there right away on Wednesday? Give him one more day of Wednesday, no practice, put him in the locker room, give him some ice and stem, give him some massage therapy, put him in the cryogenic chamber, and then let's see what he feels like on Thursday. That's not what we have here. Because remember, the season just started. There's no way these guys are exhausted. You see what I'm saying? So he doesn't really need more rest. So the fact that there was no practice, that's a bad sign. Okay, then Noah Brown, wide receiver, groin and knee combination, did not practice. Their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, knee, did not practice. I'm still not buying it, but Zach Ertz, their star tight end, it said non-injury related rest. So he's okay. They're just giving him rest. Von Miller, again, same thing, non-injury rest. Why do they both need rest this soon in the season? That seems weird. That just seems weird to me. Let's see. Jeremy Tunsil, non-injury rest. I'm shocked by this. That's their tackle. Jeremy Tunsil can play. I mean, I can understand that. Maybe his knees bothering him. I don't know. It doesn't say what body part because it says non-injury rest. So I'm sure he's fine. But then why does he need an extra day off in week 2? Or going into week 3, excuse me. That's weird. Trey Amos. Now, this is the beginning of the guys who made it to practice today. Trey Amos, cornerback, bad shoulder. He had limited practice, though. Brandon Coleman, groin, shoulder issue. Guard, shoulder issue. I saw the G and thought groin. Guard, shoulder issue, limited practice. Also, Jeremy McNichols, running back, hamstring, limited practice. That's a good sign. When it's a running back shoulder or his hand, things like that, they're going to play. But hamstring, that's where your power comes from. That's where you stop suddenly and cut comes from. He might. We'll have to watch at that one, Jeremy McNichols, because even if he makes the game, I would wonder how he's going to play. Let's see, and who's that? Colson Yankoff. I would have thought that was a prank. Colson, that's what it says. Colson Yankoff. Wow. So they have 3 tight ends, wow, on their injured list. That would be like Brock Bowers, Mayer, and Williams all being on the injured list. Can you imagine that? We would just have nobody at tight end or potentially no one at tight end. That's whew. So anyway, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 players that they have on the injured list already. I mean, I'm looking at their strength and conditioning coach like, what's going on over here? Okay, so that's that. I covered that. Let me see. What's that other news I had over here? And not only that, guys, Brock Bowers actually prepared a statement. He went into it. He talked about it. He said, stop being worried about it, that he's banged up, but he's okay. He played, but he didn't play his best because he still doesn't feel 100%. But he's getting, I'm literally reading his comment, but he's literally getting better and he feels like he's going to be fine. Right here, this comment from Newsweek. It says, Bowers was impressive as ever for the Raiders on Sunday, hauling in 5 catches for 103 yards. Oh, no, that's the Patriot game. It's behind on the news. They haven't updated their page, which is kind of whack. Okay, let me go over here. Okay, good. All right, so let me come back to you guys. Ryan Tannehill played defensive back in high school. His junior year in high school moved to quarterback and his senior year. Okay, so he did have some experience with it. Steven and Mrs. Shaw. I won't miss you again, Mrs. Shaw. That's my bad. And Bob, you know, honestly, I know they're saying he might not play, but I saw what happened. The guy's really young, you know, wiry, thin guys like that. They usually, you know, he's a rubber band. He'll bounce back. He's going to play. If he doesn't play, great. But if he does, I would not be surprised at all. Not even slightly. All right. So about my business with Max Crosby, you guys saw what I'm talking about. I had a Raider fan call me a hater because I said they need to get Malcolm Kuntz out of there. He's not good. I'm tired of Malcolm Kuntz. I want better than Malcolm Kuntz. If Raider Nation's mad about that, be mad. I'm not going to be different and lie to you and make something up or say, oh, this, that, or the other. No. Tyree Wilson, get him out of here. And I don't care that he's played a little better. Hey, look, guys, he's playing a little better. He's a first-round pick. And whether that's his fault or not isn't the point. He's making first-round money, so we need first-round plays. And we're getting 3rd and 4th round plays at best now. And what he was giving us was 5th, 6th, and 7th round plays. Put butts in him. I'm only half serious. Yep, thank you. Thank you. Someone start a hashtag so it ends up on Twitter. Release Malcolm Kuntz. Hashtag release Malcolm Kuntz. I've had enough. I mean, we gave him the 1-year prove it deal. Well, guess what? He proved it. He proved me right. Get him out of here. Show that guy the exit. I've had enough. There's so many deals we can make and bring in someone else. Just bring in someone else. And don't worry about it being Jadeveon Clowney. I checked. He went to the Niners. So, but we need to bring someone in. And I wouldn't have wanted Jadeveon Clowney anyway. Now, there's another subject that we need to talk about, and that's Jamal Adams. Now, you're going to hear some people online, because I'm already seeing it, shouting basically that Pete Carroll made a poor decision to play a little bit more Eichenberg and other guys at linebacker than Jamal Adams. In part because they felt like maybe if another team is mostly running the ball and they're kind of gashing us because they're guarding or playing, you know, protection, sending a fullback or a tight end or an offensive lineman out, finding Jamal Adams and then gaining big yards because he can't shed guys twice his size. There's an argument for that, but we saw week 1 that he can work his way around that. It felt like we were like anticipating that problem. He wasn't even on the field long enough against the Chargers, in my opinion, to really even recognize that. It was almost like they were worried so much about it that they took him off the field. You know what I mean? Mouse in the house, you know what I mean? That they would be shouting mouse in the house. And every time they see Adams, you just run to his side. I don't think that's a valid strategy. You know, would it work sometimes? Of course. But would Adams also get up and crowd the line and sometimes prevent you from running out and finding him? Of course. You know what I mean? So let's play the guy we got from the Rams. Why not, right? I mean, I'm saying it's just week 2, guys. And the Chargers played a solid game. They played a solid frustrate the quarterback kind of game. They went at Geno Smith and they said, we're daring you to throw. And unfortunately, Geno's not scared. What a lot of people saw as reasons to insult Geno, I saw as him trying to put the team on his back when his running game and his offensive line weren't there. You know, what have we ever seen against any quarterback that sees that much pressure? They struggle, guys. So I'm not ready to put this on Geno regardless of the interceptions. The first one was bad, but if you notice, the first one was obvious and bad because I don't think he recognized that they were going to play that style of defense the whole game. And then when they did it, we started falling behind and the clock was ticking down. He went back to forcing it and threw 2 more. I'm not concerned with that. God's honest. I'm not concerned with that. Now, you can't win games like that if you're turning over the ball like that. You can't. We you know what I mean? Their defense was solid. We didn't leave their defense on the field for long enough stretches, so they weren't getting tired. So there was just a mountain of things working against us. You know what I mean? And so that causes losses. Now, going into the next week with the Redskins is a whole nother. It's an entirely different battle. They're a different team. That their defensive line, their secondary, you know what I mean? Their offense, you know, it's a totally different makeup. And so they're probably going to try, though, what the Chargers did. I would imagine just about everyone is going to say, all right, let's just stack up the back end and make him throw underneath and see what he does. And I just think that part of that's on Kelly. You got to adjust and have at least 1 or 2 guys that on any one of those routes side adjusts and comes back to the ball and gives their chest to Geno. Give him a target. You know what I mean? So what if they're only 5 and 7 yard catches? Let them catch the ball and then work from there, you know? And if you're getting 5 and 7 yards a stretch, then the running game gets loosened up, you know? But Geno got a little bit loose and was trying to get it back with his arm. You know what I mean? I can't hate him for that. What we had prior to that was a guy who wouldn't even try those kind of throws and would just lose the game. At least he saw into the breach, saw what was happening to him, and he said, nah, man, I'm going to go at them. I can beat this, you know? And there are times when he does. I mean, we saw it against the Patriots. He threw a couple of threaded balls between 2 and 3 guys that were gorgeous. We didn't say anything because they weren't intercepted. You know, so he can make those throws. He can get the ball into small windows, but not closed windows. And against the Chargers, the windows were closed by 3 dudes, not 2. It seemed like every one of them he threw, the guys had 3 guys on him. He would have had 4. The bomb he threw in the end zone to I think it was to Trey Tucker. So on top of throwing a bomb, you're throwing it to the shortest guy you have at wide receiver when you always want your wide receiver to be able to go up for the ball on a bomb. But 2 guys were in front of him. The ball fell short, and we got lucky. They just knocked it down. All right. So I'm also scanning here, just looking at other stuff, just making sure I didn't miss anything. Let me just read this real quick. Carroll remains confident in Jordan Meredith at center, despite a few miscues on snapping the ball against the Chargers. I mean, Jordan Meredith did basically create his own butt fumble. Never good. The former guard is continuing to find his groove at his new position, and his 7% pressure rate allowed is the lowest of any Raiders offensive lineman this season, according to Next Gen Stats. So still a pretty good reason to keep him in there. As for Jackson Powers Johnson, he was back at practice Wednesday in a non-contact jersey as he progresses through concussion protocol. And that's all they had to say. So I'm concerned. I'm getting a little concerned because I've made my comparisons in the past to, like, say, Tim Tebow or Robert Griffin III. Remember RG3, the former quarterback of the Redskins, and how they were stars in college and in the pros they were poop because they were never actually educated like students when they were in college. They were just expected to make their alma mater win. And then when they got to the NFL level, hopefully they could figure it out. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Dead soldier. Here's another comment. I think we might have overdid it a little bit. Smith said, Gino, we had a lot of explosive plays in week 1, and obviously we wanted to carry that over. I always speak about us being explosive, but being efficient is the number one thing. Now, you notice right there, I hadn't even read that quote yet. Gino's telling you that's on me. We were explosive in week 1. I wanted us to be explosive again. Their defense said, we're not going to give you explosive plays until you can show us you can play these underneath plays and just execute. You know what I mean? Just your offensive line, just guard against our defensive line. And we're not going to let your guys run long routes. We're going to get through your offensive line, and we're going to get to your guy if he doesn't throw underneath or find short intermediate routes. And Gino still went back to the program in week 1 and tried to be aggressive with his arm. And I don't know how to say this, but should we be mad at him as a veteran? He should have known better. Or should we be excited about him because even though he saw what they were trying to do, he still tried to fight through it? I'm torn on that. Give me your comments on that one. You think he's cool for, going forward and trying to be a gunslinger and trying to bring the team back when he knew the running game was having troubles because the offensive line was having troubles and vice versa, and he's got to get rid of the ball sometimes in less than 3 seconds? He wanted to put the burden on himself. Is that to be admired, or was that a huge mistake that a veteran would have known better? Try something else. We do need to replace Kuntz. I'm just not a Kuntz guy. I haven't been, period. Even back to AP before and Josh McDaniels, even when he had a good season, you guys that watch my show regularly, I've been saying it. Even when he had a decent half of a year and gave us 7 or 8 sacks in 7 games, something like that. Fluke. Offenses that are finding our weak spots on defensive corners need to play press coverage or Tampa 2 defense. Bob, they're just young. Eric Stokes, I thought, played well. Caillou Blue, I thought, played well. Did he make mistakes? He's young, of course. You know what I mean? But did he play well? I liked him. Did you notice Vass Crosby has been dropping into coverage this year? He did it several times Monday night. Yeah, Jim, they feel like they need that extra guy underneath so you can drop the secondary and the linebackers a little bit more, but it's just a defensive strategy. I don't think it's something they're going to be doing a lot of, you know what I mean? Because they've got to get pressure on quarterbacks. And Max is the guy we have to do that right now. Everyone else, and literally everyone else, we're doing this week by week, crossing our fingers and praying Ryan Wilson can get there, praying one of our defensive tackles can get by the protection in the middle and get a sack, whatever the case may be. That's what we're doing every week, saying we're praying that happens because we know what we're going to get from Max. I just don't understand how you can have that glaring an issue for 3 going on 4 years now, and they want to talk about his salary and you can't pay someone and blah, 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 blah. Just stop. I don't want to hear it. Oh, Clowney signed with the Cowboys. I thought it was the Niners. That's my bad. He should have taken what was given to him. Mark, I agree with that, but he was trying to get us a win. You know what I mean? And Mark, as far as on to the next, tomorrow night, I won't be talking about that game anymore. I'll only be talking about Washington. So don't get me wrong, I feel you. But I wasn't on the other night, so I wanted to give my attention to our loss first. And now we move on to Washington. Because Washington's up next. They will be the next victim, and we will get back on track. And if we don't, I'll cover that.
That's our show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Everyone, please remember to like and share. Subscribe if you can. And don't forget, I'm on Patreon now. Check that out. Oh, and the Raider Bear Shop. I didn't even bring up my Raider Bear Shop. Go to Raider Bear family page. Go to the Raider Bear Shop. Get your Joke Raider merch now. Ladies, I'm adding the ladies section of Raider Bear family shop tomorrow. And the babies. But right now, it's a little bit of a lot of everything. Much love. I appreciate you all tuning in. Check me out tomorrow night, Raider Bear family page. Night, Nene. Ace.